What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Scouting Combine. But today we have another crossover episode. Today we have a good friend of mine and really big star at the 5 Reasons Sports Network. It's 3 yards per carry, Alfredo Arteaga. Alfredo, how are we doing today, my guy?
I'm doing great, but don't let MP Dolphins fan hear that, okay? Because if he hears that, he's gonna get really pissed off that that you have me on and that all these thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people listen to me and care about my takes, and he just hates me.
So the thing is, if MP Dolphins fan is watching, who I love, by the way.
No, he's boycotting, right? He told
if he's
he was
watching,
gonna boycott.
who knows? Unless he comments, love him to death. Big shout out to him as well. I love you, MP Dolphins fans.
I'm dedicating this show to MP Dolphins fan.
You're dedicating the show to him. All right. Well, I mean, this show, like anybody has already been talking about, is all about Tua Tagovailoa. We're going to be breaking down his 6 touchdown passes using all 22 film. We've got all the videos slow mode, and Alf and I are going to break down to the personnel on offense and defense, who's doing what, and some of the key components that led to these plays being successful. But Alf, before we get into that, when you were watching the all 22, what was something that you noticed that not everybody saw on TV the first time?
Well, I said on OnlyFans, and by the way, you could get on OnlyFans for $3 a month. Not that MP Dolphins fan will want to get on there for $3 a month, but thousands of other people have, right? So on there, I said last week, look, because I went over what the Ravens did against the Jets. They did a lot of quarters. They ran a lot of match zone. And I thought, man, if they start playing a lot of quarters and match zone, we're going to get a lot of, we could smoke these guys. Like, we could get some stuff. I had no idea it was going to be 6 touchdowns and 469 yards. But I thought maybe Tua could have a 300-yard day and 3 touchdowns, and maybe get a big one on them. And sure enough, they actually did go with a lot of those looks. And then they tried to sprinkle in some dog blitz looks and some fire zone. And when they tried to use a lot of those, and what they like to call switch zone, like switch short zone, which I'll explain it on the film once we see it. And once you see it, and once our listeners and our viewers see it, they're going to see how easy it is to pick these things up. These are just like really fancy terminology that coaches like to use to make people think that they're solving nuclear codes, right?
The thing is, and Alpha already knows it, I know it too. Thing is, almost 70 to 75% of all NFL playbooks are the same. They're
exactly
the same exact concept, except they have different terminologies. That's why it may seem confusing to a lot of people who read playbooks or watch the film. It's just about what coaches and players prefer and like to say. It just makes it easier for them, or as I like to say, dumbs it down for most players. So let's go ahead and talk about the first touchdown that Tua threw, and this was in the first quarter. I'll go ahead, add it on there. Video right now is paused and is slow mode. The one big thing I saw, Alf, a lot of plays that the Dolphins were successful in came in from 11 personnel. Now, I really don't have the percentage of plays, but it's honestly been a high percentage of plays, and you have 3 wide receivers. Actually here, I believe I think it's 4 wide receivers, but Tyreek Hill is actually lined up as the running back. And one thing I saw these last 2 weeks in the NFL, almost 90% of plays that had a wide receiver featured as the running back led to a touchdown. And this play itself actually led to a touchdown. So right at the top of your screen, you have Jalen Waddle. And Alf, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what this defensive front is?
Okay, this is a very simple, like, cover 6, and what they're trying to do is, if I'm correct, I remember this play pretty clearly. The safety on our left hash, their right hash, was in the end zone to start the play, and he starts coming down to the box because there's numbers there, right? Because as you can see, they have and there it is. There's a wide 7 rusher on that side. he has to read almost damn near everything, especially when you have Jalen Waddle on there. If he comes and the tackle slips, that safety actually has to stay right there in that short zone to take away that throwing lane. Now, this is a design pass,
This
right?
is a design bubble screen, in my opinion, right here. This is a design
Yeah.
bubble screen already.
So the Ravens are actually in a really, really soft coverage. How do they defeat it? Well, they tried to defeat it by just staying up with numbers. Maybe they scouted this poorly, but I could understand by having that personnel, especially having the running back that they had in the backfield. Maybe they want to be a little bit more conservative. But this is really just about getting a good initial block, which is the trigger. And once you get the trigger and you have the catch, it's one-on-one. And if Waddle can't beat a guy in a 5-yard box, then he's not Jalen Waddle, right?
No.
But watch how it works out here because you see the original look is cover 6, right? And then it starts to look like a man under look, right? And they didn't have any motion before this play. Am I correct?
No, they did not have a motion before this play at all.
Okay, so maybe that should have been a tip-off for the Ravens. This is always, hindsight, right? But no motion. They didn't identify man. They didn't need to identify man because once they get to the line, Tua Tagovailoa is looking at it. I'm pretty sure he has a check with me here with Mike McDaniel, and maybe the check would have been to something else, probably double slants on the strong side, or maybe quick outs to the field side, which either one works, or they run them together, right? But he looks at it and he sees the numbers, and since you have the numbers right there, yeah, just keep going with the play. All we got to do is hit that trigger block, and once you hit the trigger block, you create the alley, and Waddle should score. And you're going to see we do hit that trigger block.
They do. Right there, you have Liam. You have the left guard, which is Liam Eichenberg, and you have the right tackle, Teron Armstead, basically slipping out, going unblocked, and going straight to the alley where Waddle is. So you have Trent Sherfield who's blocking, Liam Eichenberg, and Teron Armstead. And look where he throws it, right there.
And the alleys are already created
for Jalen Waddle to run through.
Yeah, and if you don't get that trigger block, you got nothing. And Trent Sherfield hits that block
boom
perfectly. And by the way, if he hits it a little too early, that's offensive pass interference. So it has to be simultaneously as the ball is arriving, and they hit it and they create the alley. Like there's no way you could run the play any better than that. Of course, you're running it with a guy who's a great blocker in Trent Sherfield, and Teron Armstead is an all-pro, and he's one of the best athletes at tackle anywhere in the NFL. So that's just perfect execution. They got the perfect look. Like this is one of those where in the Ravens meetings this week, when they go over the film on Monday, they look at it and like, you know what? I don't think this was a good look for us, that we respected what they were going to do. But remember that the Dolphins would have had a check with me here. And the check with me, I'm almost certain would have been double quick outs, double slants to the short side, double quick outs to the field side.
I think the real MVP of this play, as I'm going to say throughout these next 5 plays, is Trent Sherfield and Liam Eichenberg. If I go back to this end zone view right here, watch how Liam Eichenberg moves, slips off all the way to the left, and blocks the defensive back to help create a bigger alleyway for Jalen Waddle to run through.
Mm-hmm. But take a look at Teron Armstead on this play.
Right here. The left tackle on the play.
Yeah. Watch what he does here. He gives stop it. If you could stop it. He gave the little stutter to give it a look and have the rusher hesitate. Right, you see it? Yep. And now watch him peel out. Eichenberg's block is just sublime. But look at Teron Armstead seal it. He sealed the alley. What a block by Eichenberg. Great seal by Teron Armstead. That's just perfect execution.
Perfect execution, perfect play, led to a touchdown. Now
they also got the perfect look. They got the look. Like I'm pretty sure when Tua got to the line, I was like, man, they're just giving us this. Like this is a touchdown.
Now right here was, I believe, a 3rd and 13 goal line, and this was the Mike Gesicki catch, which Colin Cowherd, if you pay attention to anything he says, said it was a terrible, terrible throw by Tua Tagovailoa. But we're gonna look at what the defense is actually doing right here. We have Cat for Life here who watches a lot of our streams here. Tua finally dripped his watermelon-sized nuts out. You're welcome, Miami. Let's go.
Yeah, on defense here, it looks like a box six, and box six is just a fancy way to say dime zone, okay? Which is something that used to be played for 1,000 years inside the red zone on 3rd and long. And what's down and distance here?
3rd and 13.
So, yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? So we won't know until the snap, but it looks like box six. So here you just want somebody to sit, okay? You're going to have a clock in your head. You got to identify how many rushers are coming. As it turned out, that he had all day, and they went to
We'll show you why he had all day, but offensive personnel, again, 11 personnel. This is going to be key for the next 4 plays as well. Go ahead, reel it in slow-mo right here. Motion man out is Trent Sherfield all the way to the right hash as well. Albert Hunt gives a signal for Connor Williams.
Okay, and by the way, you see they're on the right hash mark, and you have the corner in. It's not man press, by the way. It's just man up. Yep. So if you have the corner on the short side, or we call that the play side, and he's man up, right? That's basically a tip off. Okay, at least half of this coverage is man, and they're essentially in a cover 8 dime. Like, this is essentially a prevent defense. Like, they just want to tackle here. They'll give up 8 yards if they can, but they just want to tackle.
I'll go ahead and reel the play one more time so you guys can see what the corner is doing as he just came off. And I'll stop. One more time. You only have 2 rushers right here. So the Ravens are basically dropping 9 players into coverage. Now, when you look defensively, your defensive play calls are going to drastically change because the space is much, much less for the offense to operate. So the goal is for all offensive play callers and playmakers, how do we make the most of the space here to get points on the board or go past the sticks? And this is what Tua does, basically. Again, he has all day to throw right here. Let's go ahead and look where the players are exactly. You have almost 4 defensive players in the end zone and 2 Dolphins players which are crossing the mark right here. You have what I believe is Chase Edmonds all the way to the left hash, I believe, and another wide receiver on the right hash. There's nobody right there in the middle. Now, Alf, what are you seeing that you can tell our watchers right now that what they don't know?
Well, if you could bring it back a little bit, and I'll tell you where to bring it back. Okay, bring it back right there. Okay, right there. Tua, if he starts his progression, and it looks like he is on the play side, it's already 3-by-2. Okay, you got an inside release up top. So maybe you have a pass right there.
There to Tyreek Hill, if you guys can see him right in the middle of the field.
But if 2 comes off, and 2 is going to be the slot corner, if 2 comes off, that's a pick. Okay, safety is eyeballing. Look where the safety is. The safety is 7 yards off of the left hash. Usually it's about 4. So what does that tell you? Bracket coverage on Tyreek Hill.
He's right by the 7-yard line as well.
Yeah, so forget about Tyreek Hill. Tua has to recognize right away that safety is way off the hash. He's supposed to be at 4 yards off the hash. He's about 7, which means he's shading. And if he's shading, it's a double on Tyreek. It's a bracket. Tyreek's off. I can't go to the slot because the safety's right over the top. So the play side is dead to me. If I'm Tua, I got to step up and come off of that side.
Now, I'll go ahead and reel the pass. And remember what I was talking about, finding the space. If you go ahead and look at the end zone, they have almost 2 to 3 yards of space where the logo is designed. Very rarely do you see quarterbacks actually throw over there because of how hard it is to throw and how little space there is to get the player's feet inside to make it a touchdown. And look exactly what happens here, where Tua throws it. Only where Mike Gesicki can catch it using his 6'6" frame and his volleyball skills. He climbs the ladder to catch the pass and reels both feet into the end zone to make it 14 points for the Miami Dolphins. And we'll show you the end zone clip right here so you guys can see what's going on. Now, again, this is the middle of the field, more so towards intermediate. So you have a lot of players crowding, crowding the end zone right here. Look where the ball is placed.
Yeah, Mike Gesicki used to be in dunk contests in college, and essentially right there he threw him an alley-oop. Man, just go get it at 10 feet because nobody else can, but you can, and that's exactly what he did. He's a really good player. Every time I hear about Mike Gesicki not being a good blocker, I keep going back to things like that, and I think to myself, you know what? That's why he's on this team. And don't let it be lost on anybody. He was on 11 personnel and he was on the field in 11 personnel a lot. And look at the success that they had. I think he's important for this offense.
Now I'm actually right here before this play starts. I want you guys to pay attention to what Mike Gesicki does over here. I believe this is the 40-yard touchdown pass. Tua throws to Tyreek Hill. If my file is loading up correctly, I hope it is.
Although the third one was to Craycraft.
Third one was to Craycraft. I think it might be this one.
Yeah, Craycraft.
Apologies for the technical difficulties. Yep.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Now I remember this play clearly because I've seen it broken down several times. And when I saw it for the first time broken down, I was like flabbergasted. Like
I was impressed too.
Yeah, like Mike McDaniel is really reaching into his bag, and he's not only creating secondary and secondary and third offense. Tertiary offense for his quarterback. But this is high level stuff. On this play, Tua is supposed to read leverage. And if you notice, the ball's on the left hash. And remember what we talked about last time on the goal line, it's this every team in the NFL does this, okay? Double slants usually on the play side and double quick outs on the field side. That's a base goal line play for for 6 yards and in until 2 yards as a passing play. That's just basic stuff. So what do? Okay.
He motions Edmonds out to his right side. Number one.
And Craycraft is running a quick out, but look at the leverage on that side. Stop it.
Right there.
Yeah. He doesn't have it, right? At least he doesn't think he has it.
No.
Now, he could go really, really quick with it, but he really doesn't have it. Quarterbacks are taught, you got to come off of this. You don't have that yet. First of all, the corner on that side hasn't cleared. Second of all, the route hasn't defeated anybody, and the leverage is all wrong to get that quick out. So the double quick outs to the field side, that's dead. But watch what they do.
Watch what happens, number one, at the top of the screen. I believe that's also Jalen Waddle there. He's covered up. You have the safety man in the middle of the end zone as well.
But watch Craycraft.
Is it playing? I think it's stuck.
Isn't NFL Plus wonderful?
No. It's not from NFL Plus. It's from NFL Game Pass. I have it right here. Here we go.
All right. Watch River Craycraft run the quick out, and then watch what happens. Leverage is all wrong. Right Tua doesn't have this.
Boom. You see the pressure coming at him.
Yeah.
You see the pressure coming at Tua, and you see what Craycraft is actually doing. He's moving towards Tua. He's eyeing the pressure, and he can tell that Tua is about to roll out somewhere, either to his left, to his right, to avoid the pressure. This is a high-level play from River Craycraft. He's thinking ahead. He's projecting the future. Where is Tua going to throw this ball?
He's also reading the corner on the outside, and he knows the corner has not cleared. So if the corner doesn't clear, you don't have double quick outs. You just don't. There. So he's just going to work his way right down the line, and he's essentially all wide open. If you notice in the back of the end zone, you can stop it because he just caught the touchdown. Jalen Waddle is wide open all alone, right?
The other thing is he actually went out of bounds as well.
Exactly. So why didn't Tua throw to him? Because Jalen Waddle did the smartest thing you could possibly do. He stayed out of bounds and waved off throwing the ball to him. So very smart play by Jalen Waddle. Tua Tagovailoa saw him and hits River Craycraft, working his way across the formation. Very, very, very smart. This is high level stuff offensively. This is Mike McDaniel teaching offense as well as
that boy reached into his bag to pull it out. I mean, you look at the blocking number 1 by Connor Williams. He tried his best to contain number 96. You see Tua right here senses the pressure, spins out, extends the plays with his legs.
By the way,
Something.
how about Justin Houston in complete and total jail as Teron Armstead
Yep.
and Liam Eichenberg play volleyball with him?
Exactly.
That was very nice
right
sequence
too.
for nice sequence for Eichenberg and Teron Armstead as they tossed Justin Houston back and forth. That was very nice.
Very, very high level from Tua, and I believe this is the 4th touchdown right here. Remember when I talked about Mike Gesicki? You're going to watch him right here on this play. Again, 11 personnel. I believe right here at the top is Marlon Humphrey, and he is matched up with who I believe to be is Jalen Waddle all the way at the left hash mark. And Tyreek Hill is in the slot, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. Yeah, go ahead. What kind of pressure look do you see right here, Alf?
Okay, now if you see, this looks like normal cover 2, right? It could be quarters as well, since they're so far off, and you kind of see it is quarters, and you can stop it. You can stop it. Okay, Tua reads something very simple. He reads a dog blitz and fire zone. Now, what is a dog blitz? It's a 2-by-1 blitz. Okay, it's when you send 2 linebackers or a safety and a linebacker at an end who's going to cover the tackle and make the tackle and the guard decide who to block, because you're going to have the numbers, right? You're going to have 3. You're going to have 3 guys. You got to block 2, right? Because you only have 2 guys, unless your tackle could take up 2 guys, right? So that's called the dog blitz.
Right.
So
here.
whenever you have a dog blitz, on the other side you got to have a fire zone, which means you're bringing 2 and then you're dropping 2 back. And as you can see in the bottom of the screen, they're dropping 2 back. That's a fire zone, or some people call it a reverse zone or a short zone drop.
So
Well, I'll say this: there's one surefire way to defeat this. Quarterbacks are usually taught to throw into the blitz. So whenever the dog blitz is coming, you're throwing hot on that side. The other way to do it is to throw over the fire zone. And Tua decides, you know what? I'm going to buy a little time, and you can see it when he gets into his drop. You can see what he does, and he starts to drift to buy himself a little time, and he decides, I'm throwing over the fire zone.
Right there.
That's heavy duty stuff. Like that's just high level quarterbacking. You just love to see something like that, because I'm telling you, like 8 out of 10 quarterbacks will throw into the blitz hot. About 2 out of 10 would say, if you're using a dog blitz and I could buy a little time, I could throw over your fire zone on the other side. And if I throw over your fire zone, you don't got the numbers to get my guy deep. And if you have Tyreek Hill, he's going to beat most cornerbacks to the end.
And this is where Mike Gesicki comes into play, because he's actually running a route right here. But look right in the slot where he is. He's the 3rd wide receiver from the left-hand side of Tua. Look what exactly he does. He chips the edge rusher, buys a little bit of time, chips the defensive back again, which buys time for Tua to drift. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had enough time to drift, to set his feet, set his base, and unload it off to Tyreek Hill. Then you go ahead. He sees the safety, sees the corner as well, right here to Tyreek Hill, all the way on the right-hand side. He sees, you know what, with Tyreek Hill's speed, I'll go ahead, throw this ball right for a touchdown. Boom. Gone. When was the last time you saw something like this from a Dolphins quarterback, Alf?
Dan Marino. Dan Marino would see something like that. He would see a dog blitz, and he would buy time by drifting, setting your feet, and just throwing it as far as you can, as Mark Lane or Mark Duper just runs past a corner and a safety. I do believe Kyle Hamilton played this as bad as you could play it.
Kyle Hamilton did play it, and you will see the frustration on his face, not being able to keep up with the Tyreek Hill speeds. You see Jalen Waddle waving his hands in the back, like, yeah, he did it.
Yeah, it's a great play. It's a great play. I love the decision, because the decision is not robotic. It's not. It also helps that you have Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill breeds the confidence to make that decision, But
Shout out
yeah,
to Nick
it's
Hicks and Pro
absolutely
Form for getting Tua back. That spin move was beautiful.
yeah, it was an absolute great play by Tua, a great decision because that's not something a lot of quarterbacks do. A lot of quarterbacks will automatically see the dog blitz and say, I'm throwing to the dog blitz and I'm throwing hot, and that's it. I'm ignoring what's happening on the other side. Tua decided, well, if you're bringing a dog blitz, they don't have the numbers on the other side, which means the short zone is not open, but what is open is a fly pattern. I'm going to buy a little time, which you saw him very subtly drifting to buy a little bit of extra time. And sure enough, he hits Tyreek right over the top. Touchdown. It was great decision. I love the decision.
Again, this is another touchdown, which is 3rd and 6 in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes and 48 seconds left.
I love this play, and I got some insight on this play. Just leave it right there. Tua's right on the line of scrimmage, and this is as easy a read as you can make. Like they're showing cover zero. Like this looks like it's cover zero. Like they're bringing the house, right?
It looks like it's cover zero. It looks like it's cover
exactly, zero. But that's where I'm getting at. It looks like cover zero. That's all you need to know. Okay, it looks like cover zero on the sidelines. They were talking about this. Tyreek talked about this as well. Tyreek said, "Look, and the next time that they do that cover zero look, because what they kept doing is showing a cover zero look, and then they would drop out, and then foolishly tried to get into some type of cover two, and
cover three actually.
Yeah, cover three.
It was actually cover three.
And Tyreek said, "Look, the next time that they show cover zero, just snap it and just throw it over their heads. I'm going to outrun them because they can't get back there." And sure enough, you're thinking, okay, this is cover zero. What this is designed for is the defense wants to make you think, okay, this is cover zero. We got to throw hot. Okay, so you're back to trying to identify who's coming and who's not going, right? So like, let's say they're coming on the left side. So it's 2-by-1 on the left side. You want to slide your protection that way, and you could pause it right here. And like right there is cover zero, right? So right there, normal teams would say, okay, we're going to identify where's the 2-by-1. Okay, it's obviously on the right-hand side, right? So on the right side, we're going to
see right there, number 32, Marcus Williams, is safety. He's way down in the box. And when I resume the play, he's going to run way out towards the middle.
So right there, you're thinking, okay, this is normal thinking. Normal thinking is this is cover zero. We're going to slide protect to the right because they got the numbers on the right. And then we're going to throw hot to the right. And usually when you throw hot is that both receivers on that side would be in tandem running the same route, either slants or quick outs. Usually quick outs work the best, okay? Now, what they decided on the sideline was the next time that they give us that cover zero look, I'm just running past them, and you just throw a fly pattern because they can't get back there. And that's exactly what they did. And
let me show you something on the strong side of the formation for the Dolphins, which is the three wide receivers on the right-hand side. You have Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Marcus Williams, and Kyle Hamilton. At the top, you're leaving Jalen Armour-Davis, a 4th-round rookie from Alabama, one-on-one with the fastest wide receiver in the NFL in Tyreek Hill. And watch what happens here.
Mm-hmm.
So you see right there, they're showing that blitz look. You see pre-snap, number one, pre-snap Tua saying, okay, looks like cover zero. Looks like cover zero, right? Throws it way over his head. Boom. Zone. Right there. Cover 3. Everybody backs off. Okay, now what do? You see Tyreek Hill all the way on the left-hand side. He's moving towards the inside. He wants to see what this cornerback is going to do and decide what the leverage is. How am I going to play this? Am I going to stay on the inside? Am I going to fake? Am I going to go towards the outside and go around him to get this ball? Watch what Tyreek Hill does right here. Inside, boom. He catches Jalen Armour-Davis flat-footed right there. He's setting his base. He's not running with Tyreek Hill. He's trying to respect his speed, but whatever you do, you can't respect his speed unless you're like 6'4", 210 pounds and get your hands on him right on the line. That's the only way you can touch him. Boom. Wins with an inside move. All Tua has to do is throw this ball at the end of the day.
Yeah, just put it out there. Just put it out there and let your guy run under it, and then it's deuces. It's deuces from the 10-yard line in. Yeah. No, it was a beautiful look. It was, first of all, like, who deserves credit for this? Tyreek Hill deserves credit for this because he's the one who brought it up on the sidelines to Mike McDaniel. He told him, look, the next time you just give me that look, I'm just going to just throw it over their heads because they're not going to get back there. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. They couldn't get back there.
You had Chase Edmonds waving at Tua. He's like, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. He's like, I'm going with Tyreek Hill, number one. I'm going with Tyreek Hill right here. Deuces right there. That's how the Dolphins basically tied it up in the fourth quarter with almost 5 minutes remaining. And then the Ravens went down all the way, kicked a 55-yard field goal with Justin Tucker to get the lead up 38-35. 2 minutes, 19 seconds. Tua time, Tua on the clock, the offense on the clock. And what does he do? Drive down the field. This is what I believe a second or third and goal. And we know
this is second. I believe it's second and goal. Okay.
Second and goal. 11 personnel. Yet again.
Yeah. The first play,
you see the consistent theme here, right?
Yeah. The first play, you could see that Jalen Waddle runs like what is called a slip route, and Tua throws it really high at the back of the end zone. Now,
I initially thought it was a choice route because I saw something from the 2018 playbook where he's in the slot. He runs up and either goes inside or outside of the hashes, and it's up to the quarterback to determine where the ball is going to go.
But a lot of people, and I hate to use that word because I'm starting to hate the word casuals, but a lot of casual football fans watch something like that and are like, oh, Tua just missed Jalen Waddle at the back of the end zone. No, he didn't. If you watch Matt Hasselbeck's breakdown, they're right here. Once they get into the red zone, they're in us or nobody mode, which means Tua is taught. He's been drilled since college. You're in the red zone. We have 3 points in the bag. We have overtime in the bag. You're not putting anything in jeopardy. Everything's going to be either us or nobody. So that slip route or like the choice route, like you call it, that he throws on first down, nobody's going to catch that unless it's Jalen Waddle making a great catch at the back of the end zone. Because if he doesn't catch it, it's going to hit the goalposts. Right?
And one thing I want to point out, you see Chase Edmonds, he didn't have a stat line like Raheem Mostert did. But one thing I will tell you about Chase Edmonds and what I spoke with Ty Dunabout from GoLongTouchdown.com, who sat down and had an interview with Chase Edmonds. Edmonds is more so on the field a lot to help with blocking. He's telling Tua what the defense is showing him, what the blocking is supposed to be from the offensive line, and if he needs to make a check or not. This is exactly what Chase Edmonds is doing on these goal line situations, on those crucial third downs. So, like me, I have Chase Edmonds on my fantasy team now. I won, even though he didn't give me a lot of points, but he was as crucial as Tua, Tyreek, and Jalen Waddle were on offense. And he's telling Tua, check this or stay in this right now. This is what the defense is saying. This is what the protection needs to be.
Yeah, and I'll say another thing about this coach and this team. When they got down to the 6, I said to myself, because I said today on, I believe it was on Twitter it was actually on OnlyFans. You could get on there for $3 a month, by the way. On OnlyFans, I was saying, you know what? Once they got down to the 6-yard line, the way I watch football is that I look at the defensive personnel, then I look at what the offensive personnel is. Once the Chase Edmonds run happened, and I saw how much time was left, and I was like, you know what? They're leaving themselves at least 3 plays here. So I expected the first play to be a Y-ISO fade to Gesicki. And when I saw him in the slot, I'm like, yeah, these guys don't give a crap about what is conventional wisdom. They're running their offense and the offense that they installed and the offense they want to run. There's not going to be any of what is conventional wisdom in the NFL, which is always, if you have a tall tight end, conventional wisdom in the NFL is on first down and possibly second down in this type of situation with the clock ticking down, you're going to run a Y-ISO fade, which is, by the way, Y-ISO is just that you're moving your tight end outside of the formation, and he's basically isolated. So you run a fade with him, because he's basically going to be one-on-one. It's
You don't
guaranteed.
want to run a goal line fade anymore in this NFL. It never, ever, ever, ever works out.
No, but it's conventional wisdom. It's what everybody goes to right off the bat.
Blows my fucking mind every time I see a goal
right
line
off the
fade.
bat, everybody gets first and goal at the 6. If you have a tall tight end, if you have Austin Hooper and you're the Tennessee Titans, guess what? Because they actually did it last night.
Why ISO?
Why ISO fade? And they didn't do it now. This
So
time,
right now, what is this defensive personnel that you're seeing? Because I see man straight off the bat.
yeah, it's man under. They're man under. They decided, enough of this stupid zone thing, because this match zone is just killing us. Especially the way that sometimes they inverted their formations. And by the way, the best play, my favorite play of the entire game, was that goal line play where they had 21 personnel and they got a 60-yard gain out of it because they inverted the formation. They had the fullback and the tight end on the outside, and they had Tyreek and Waddle in the slot. And Waddle basically just outruns a linebacker to a spot, catches it, starts running all over the field, and gets 60 yards.
Oh, you mean the Choice Jaguar play?
Yes.
The Choice Jaguar play I tweeted out. Yeah, Waddle actually ran a stick nod route. I believe it was Hill that was running the choice route as well. So actually on that route, you had a vertical, you had a choice by Hill, and a stick nod by Jalen Waddle. After this, I'll go ahead and show what the actual play breakdown is going to be. Brought it up in my head.
But yeah, it's just
well.
I loved everything about the game that this coach called, and this is all really high level stuff, and even more importantly, it's the execution. But the Ravens have already learned by this point, because we're down to the last play of the game essentially, and the Ravens are like, we're not running that stupid match zone thing anymore, because we're going to get beat on it again, because Tua's actually targeting the interior of our defense every single time. So you know what? We're gonna have to live with this. We're gonna have to play match zone. We're just gonna have to get to the quarterback. I mean, we're gonna have to play, match man under, and we're gonna have to get to the quarterback. That's what they do, but they drop out again, and they only rush 3. And it's man under.
You see what this route? It's basically a pick play right now.
Mm-hmm.
All at the top left of your screen. It looks like a pick play to me. You're like, oh, okay. How are they gonna get some space into the end zone? As I've already stated to you guys as well. How are they going to create some space to get a player into the end zone or to take it in? Right there, you have – I'll play it again. Looks like they bump into each other, right? And Tua's basically looking. Clean pocket, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a clean pocket. He's got a nice bubble out of him. And you have 1, 2, 3 Ravens right at the right hash mark, trying to cover one Dolphins defender. Play it again. And it's stuck. And it's stuck. See, this new NFL Game Pass system is something. I don't like it. There we go. There's the pick play right there. And I believe that's Trent Sherfield. So you see Jalen Waddle dips his hip, flips out, catches the leverage from the defensive back, has a whole lot of space all the way in the front of his face. Tua sees that, and he goes, yep, that's the play right there.
Yep.
Rolls out, delivers the strike, catches, boom. Game's over.
Mm-hmm.
Game's over. And you just see the Ravens defense. They're like, damn. That Ravens defensive back group ran 3.5 miles last Sunday. They were defeated. Like, you have to be well-conditioned up against this Dolphins offense, man.
I like their look, by the way. I like their look on defense. Okay? Like, if you notice when they line up, they drop both B-gap guys, but they had them covered. They had our guards covered. So right there, you got to be cognizant of that. Like, if you're Tua, you have to understand, okay, wait a minute. They have both of my guards covered. Like, all 5 could come. If all 5 could come, then I got to go quick with this, right? But he recognizes right away. I think that's just poorly played by the Ravens. When you drop out of the B-gap so fast, you're basically dictating where the ball is going to go. And not to put, not to make it so simple, but it really is that simple. When you have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and they're forcing you to throw it to one of those two guys, that's actually a good thing.
So I'll actually go ahead and share that clip. I tweeted it out as well, right here. That's 2nd and 13, ball on the 3, second quarter, right here. This is the play you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
You see Alec in goal motion all the way out wide. Okay, goal line right here. How much? Be honest here, Alf. You remember up against, I believe it was it the Texans when Jacoby Brissett threw the
It was against
double
the
screen
Raiders.
pass to Jalen Waddle?
It was against the Raiders.
It was against the Raiders. There we go. Did that give you a little bit of flashbacks?
When I saw that they were in goal line, okay, they were on the goal line basically, and that they went empty, and I saw that the formation was inverted. I was like, this could be a smoke route. And if they run a smoke route here, it could work. Because if you run a smoke route with your slot guy, he could get behind blockers. And I thought that's what they were going to do. And no, that was not what they were going to do.
That's it. That was the Jalen Waddle play. Well, Alf, thank you so much for coming on, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stick around for the 5 Reasons Sports. Stick around for the Scouting Combine and 3 yards per carry. You all have a great day.